Thank you, Secretary General, and the witnesses. When we look at the 2019 accounts, grants to education bodies working in primary and post-primary sectors increased by 10 million in 2019, and additional costs arose due to specifically in relation to the State Exams Commission in regard to reforms to the Leaving Cert appeal system and accelerated implementation of online marking system. So my question, Secretary General, is were external companies involved in that €10 million increase in spending with the procurement of services by external companies?
So, obviously, the State Exams Commission is an agency of the department. And it has its own accountable person. So I'm the accounting officer overall for the vote, and there's an accountable person, and they submit their own accounts. So I'm just trying to get details on the areas. Yeah. So the reform of the Leaving Cert appeal system was 3 million, and so it was just the reform. It was just the SEC expenditure you were asking for, Deputy, was it?
Yeah, and also the online marking system.
The online marking system. I'd see if I can find it in the note.
Maybe I could be more direct in the question.
Yeah.
So the question related to where external companies, procurement of services from external companies involved in that increase in spending. Can I be more direct? There's been a lot of discussion around the company Polymetrica. In 2019, and the accounts that are before us today, were services procured from Polymetrica in 2019?
No.
So there was no services in the 2019 period relating to that company.
There are no services from the State Exams Commission in relation to Polymetrica.
In the accounts of fall that are before us, though, you've a broader responsibility. Was there a relationship with Polymetrica in the 2019 period?
There was no expenditure from the Department of Education and Skills directly on Polymetrica. There is expenditure, as far as I'm aware, from the Education Research Centre, which is another state agency with Polymetrica.
And can you outline the nature of the services which were provided in 2019?
Do you have that, Tom? Yeah. That's calculated. See, this is it's not within the Department of Education. It's within the Education Research Centre.
Secretary General, I'm a little bit surprised that that information isn't available to you, given that it might have been an expected question.
Well, the expenditure wasn't. Sorry, first of all, apologies, Deputy. We had 4 working days' notice for this hearing.
Of course.
Okay. Okay. So my question was, I have 7 files of
information. Did the department procure services from Polymetrica in the 2019 period?
And I answered that. No.
No.
And the agency of the department did. The Education Research Centre. I'm trying to find the bit of information that I have about that, Deputy, and I apologise for this.
And can you tell us on the basis on which those services were procured and what skills Polymetrica brought, which clearly weren't felt within the department's current resources?
Well, again, the department didn't engage them. So the Education Research Centre engaged them. I have the nature of the work that Polymetrica have undertaken for agencies under the aegis of the department. I can outline that either Polymetrica or the person who is the owner of Polymetrica, Fernando Cartwright, was involved with the Irish education system in 2010, and at that time we received information from the PISA 2009 survey in relation to the achievement of 15-year-old students, and there was an unexpected decline. And the ERC, at the request of ourselves, commissioned Statistics Canada, where that person was working, to examine all of the Irish PISA data to establish why the unexpected declines had occurred. 2 experts from Statistics Canada including the named person, worked with the ERC to provide a full technical review of PISA at the request of the department, and there was further work and research articles written in that regard. As well as that, the research that was undertaken established that a bias in the way the trend data was constructed had occurred.
Okay, so it related to the international PISA rankings rather than the accelerated implementation of any new online marking system?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
And that's going back.
Can you talk to us about the work carried out in 2019 in regard to that accelerated marking system and whether it laid the foundation for it to be used in a very select number of areas? Did it lay the foundation for online marking, which would be in subsequent years, this year and so on?
Yeah, the nature of the online marking work undertaken by the SEC was to ensure that the documentation and the examinations coming in various subjects, as many as possible, and it was expanded, could be scanned in and then made available for the examiners on an online way, so that so as to remove the sending out of examination papers. So that was the major project that the State Exams Commission did in order to try and get the results out as speedily as possible and also to get the appeals process implemented as speedily as possible. In 2019, the State Examinations Commission had to undertake a speedy appeals process following a major court case the year before, and they brought back the appeals process dates, so they were able to do as much as possible of that on an online basis. I
imagine when you use the word speedy, it was probably nothing compared to what you would envisage speedy being in 2020. I suppose the question is, was any of the work that was comparable in that period applicable in subsequent years? And you're saying that they did not relate.
No. The work for the State Exams Commission on those two projects helped the State Exams Commission move to be operating more in an online way. But other than that, it wasn't of immediate assistance to the work that needed to be undertaken on the calculated grades. The technical understanding of Mr. Fernando Cartwright and Polymetrica of the way the Irish system works would have meant that he was well positioned to come in and assist. But the actual nature of the work that he did, I referenced PISA, but he also did some other work for the Education Research Centre on PIAC, and in 2019 they consulted with him in relation to the procurement of an integrated online assessment platform to supply the Education Research Centre tests to schools, and for that work that was undertaken in 2019 and 20.
And Secretary General, standardisation occurs in every year. Were any other companies procured to provide advice or assistance in the standardisation of examinations as it related to 2019?
No, the standardisation of exam results was undertaken completely by the State Exams Commission. It has its own systems for that, following the written exams and so on.
And as you relate to those systems, the coding of those systems or the IT systems which assisted in the standardisation process, was that carried out within the existing IT systems within the department, or did you procure additional services for that?
Again, it's not the department, it's the State Exams Commission, it's an agency of the department. So it has some IT support itself, and for example, in relation to the online, it had to outsource some of that work.
Okay, and did it procure? It outsourced some of that work. Do we know the companies that are involved in that?
I don't have them here to hand. But we can certainly get details from the State Examinations Commission for you.
Yeah, look, I appreciate your assistance on that. I think it will prove beneficial as we move on that issue. Can I return in the very brief time that I have available to the issue which the previous deputy raised in regard to postage of pay slips? I think there's many people that will be shaking their heads at the thought of thousands and thousands of pay slips each fortnight going out by post, when it is a service that could easily be supplied online. Can we outline, as a new deputy to the PAC, I can't believe that we haven't visited this issue, not just in recent years, but in recent decades.
It's about, Deputy, it's a huge system upgrade that needs to be planned, because let's be honest, we can't drop the payroll. It has to work every week. It's so important for the wide range of payees, and we have a major IT project underway planning to do that, and we have done that in our shared services, which we're beginning to implement for the education and training boards.
Do you have an expectation or a timeline on that?
I don't have the project plan here, but it's a major project over a number of years. There is an interim payroll upgrade which is happening next year, and we are investigating the extent to whether, as part of the payroll upgrade and the software upgrade, it might be possible to do that. I would very much like to be able to do what you've said, and I agree with your assertion that we need to be doing better than that. But I can't guarantee that that will be part of it. But we are pushing to try and make that part of it.
You might go back to the committee with a timeline on that if possible, Sir John. Thank you.
Yeah.